This is the Eagle-i BC2500 stationary power charger. It is a modular switch mode charger, which means it is comprised of many current modules. You can see them here. We call them intelligent power modules. And that means you can size the system according to your needs, depending on the current output for your application. You can see here that the modules are hot swappable, which means you can remove and insert them while the charger is still online. I can easily replace this module, or if there was any issue with a single module, you can have it missing a module, you can replace it whenever you need to, and this can all be done without disconnecting anything or having to worry about taking the system offline. Along with that, they are made so that you cannot insert the wrong voltage module into the slot unless it fits your charger. So this is a 130 volt nominal charger, and that means it's only going to accept an IPM that is 130 volts. You can see on the top right here, this is our meter display. On the top is the system voltage, and on the bottom is the current output. And then you have some status lights right above it. And then you can see there's an AC input breaker, and on this unit, 2 DC output breakers. There's 2 because we have 2 rows on this 8-bay charger. There's also a 4-bay and a 16-bay charger, depending on the size of your application. So here we can see the top panel of the BC2500 charger when you pull the top cover down. We call this the UIM, or User Interface Module, and it has some ports, some switches for setting your charge settings, as well as the connections on the right side for input power and DC output. So looking at the ports on the left side, you can see in the top left is an alarm relay. This is for outputting your main alarm, and it is a Form C contact. The one next to it is a battery temp sensor plug. So if you would like to have some temperature compensation, there's an additional cable that you can plug in, connect to the battery, and it will allow you to compensate according to temperature during the charge. On the bottom left is an Ethernet port, which is used for accessing your web server. So the charger has an internal web server that can be connected to your network via this cable. You're going to be able to make all your system settings, charge settings. Pretty much all of the settings can be accessed on the web server. And next to that is a DC voltage connection. The DC voltage connection is for use when you want to minimize voltage drop, and it's going to be an extra sensing cable for the string voltage. The next section here shows you some rotary switches, and you can see on the top it mentions volts per cell, and on the bottom number of cells. So you're going to set these dials according to your charging needs. If you wanted to, you can also just go off of the web server and have only control from that setting. You enable this by setting the number of cells to 00. It's important to make sure that your rotary settings are correct before you make any connections. So just always keep in mind what your charge settings are and make sure they're exactly right for your application. There's also a few status LEDs next to that. And you can see there's a alarm light, confirmation of AC presence, UIM status, as well as one thing I didn't mention, which is confirm local presence. There's a little button there, and that is used, the charger's not connected, but that will light up that light there, and that allows you to make changes on the web server. You want to have someone locally present before making any changes. And lastly, on the right side, you can see the connections for your AC input and DC output. It's a nice little terminal block there, and holes for conduits on the side. So essentially, this is where you're going to connect and go to that terminal block.